Artists threaten society. There's one group of people that the elite fear. And if you guys have ever heard of the Epstein files, and if you guys are ever keeping up with all the conspiracy theories that are going on the internet, well, these aren't going to be conspiracy theories for much longer. But there's one group of people that these elites that run society fear, and that is artists. Artists, during times of upheaval, during times of change, artists have the innate ability to completely control cultural norms and cultural zeitgeist and able to capture the feelings and paint a picture of the emotions and the psychology of the people. And so, if there's one group of people that elites fear, it's artists, and it's because artists pose a threat to the social norms that the elite are trying to establish. They threaten the control that the elite have, and in addition to that, they also highlight the hypocrisy and the inhumane behavior that goes on in society. And so because they're able to highlight all the flaws of society, they really threaten the very foundation of society. There's a lot of examples of that. Like you got Kanye. He's an example of an artist that the elite can't stand because he's just kind of outside the box. We got other examples of that, like Bob Marley. They arrested Bob Marley because he was a freedom fighter. He was always talking about freedom. You got songs of freedom. By the way, do any of you guys listen to Bob Marley? I should go play some Bob Marley tonight. Go play it on my guitar. Practice some Bob Marley songs. Bob Marley was a huge example of that. He was against apartheid. He was against racism. He was against a lot of things like that. Even Michael Jackson, in many ways, stood against the elite. He stood against the record labels that were trying to own everybody's masters and control people. Michael Jackson stood against that. He really championed artist independence and artists owning their future and owning their wealth. And so we have these examples of artists standing against the norms in history. Even Leonardo da Vinci, if we go back in time to the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci was against eating animals. He felt that it was so cruel that we would go to mammals and we would torture them and eat them and do all this horrible stuff to mammals. He sympathized with mammals. And I think it's innate to the nature of artists that we're typically more empathetic. Like, I feel like I'm emotionally sensitive. Do you guys think I'm sensitive? Be honest. I won't cry. I might cry. Artists are typically sensitive. We're very sensitive to the emotions that people go through. In particular with me, I see life very cinematically. I see it all like a movie. I see it all as like a play, as like this spectacular dramatic play that's ongoing, and there's actors and there's different characters, and I like to view it as I'm the director of the movie in a way, and I like to frame things in a certain way. That's what I'm really excited about in my content. You said somewhat. Yeah, artists are emotional people. By our very nature, we have to be emotional because we don't capture the logic of life. We capture the opposite of logic. We capture the emotion of life. We capture the energy, the color of life, the various um, non-physical aspects of life that aren't mentioned logically, that's not on paper, but it's there. That's something that artists have innately, and I think it's very important. I don't know you sensitive personally, but you don't look emotionally sensitive. Well, the truth is, I'm not emotionally sensitive. I'm ruthless. I'm cruel. I'll put people in their place. I'm top batch, you're bottom batch. Okay, Iran. We just heard big news about Iran. Their supreme leader has passed away due to a strike that our government has done in Iran, which is pretty crazy. I didn't think we'd be going to war. And it's funny because my little brother is now joining the military right now, right as all this is happening. He thought he'd be joining the military during peace times. No, no, no. And, it's concerning to me because I don't want my little brother to go to war, especially for a country halfway across the world that we've never been to. And frankly, the girls there are bad as fuck. Like, Iranian girls are bad. While we are going to war against them, we should be allies, man. We should have open borders with them, if anything. They're girls. Have you seen Iranian women? They're the Latinas of the Middle East. Why are we going to war against the Latinas of the Middle East? And my little brother is joining the army too. It's kind of a scary time for me. And I feel like a lot of people in this country can agree with me. We should not be going to war against the Latinas of the Middle East. I mean, there's they're thousands of miles away from us. I think it's absolutely absurd. However, we're gonna go see how things play out. Maybe we don't go to war. Maybe this whole thing is over. Maybe after these strikes, the country will just surrender. Just be like, listen, we took the L. You already killed our leader. You already did what you did. We're gonna surrender, and maybe they surrender, and it's just like that. And honestly, I hope that's the best outcome. But in these times, we gotta stay strong. We gotta stay positive because the future is actually bright. We have a bright future. No matter how dark the world seems, the future is bright because Gen Z is a strong generation. We're a socially conscious, emotionally aware, spiritually tapped in generation. Our frequency is right in this generation. And so, even if our grandparents and our parents fuck things up, we're going to fix things ourselves. And that's something that I have full confidence in Gen Z to do. Because of our level of social consciousness and activity and education, I really believe in Gen Z. And I think that I know that we're going to make things right in the world. So even if our leaders screw up, as long as they don't bring us to nuclear war, we'll be fine. And we're going to make things much better. By the time we're in power, things will improve because every generation is better than the last. We keep improving. We keep learning from the mistakes of our parents, the mistakes of our grandparents. We're no longer as racist. We're no longer as prejudiced. Yes, we have other problems, like with our birth rate declining, the high level of single men and women in our generation is a terrible issue. The high levels of social comparison that's completely rotting our society. The complete lack of God, that's also destroying society, that's destroying our generation. But that's why I'm so happy to be part of these times because I feel like as an artist, I get to fix all those problems. I get to heal all those problems. And I feel like that we have such amazing opportunity. The pros outweigh the cons. We're in the most interesting time in human history where we're on the cusp of human renaissance, absolute technological achievement that we've never ever seen before in history. This is like the time when we first discovered electricity and had cars for the first time. Except AI is even more crazy than electricity has ever been. AI is a literal mind. It's a literal ever evolving God potentially. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. That being said, guys, comment right now. What do you guys want me to do? You guys want me to cook up beats? Oh, and I got cleared for my beat test.